We are here to talk about innovation in healthcare, but instead of wowing over you with the fascinating and fancy and successful stories, I want to have the coin flipped and tell you about the blood and tears at the back. The novel coronavirus is a hot issue since the very beginning of this 2020. The virus, originating from Chinese city Wuhan, has caused more than 70,000 infections and 1,800 deaths around the world in less than 3 months. Even being miles away, more than 40 cases have been tested positive in Europe. Terrible figures, right? What's more to be concerned is, there is not yet an effective cure nor any prevention vaccine available at the moment. People are desperately calling for innovations. New drug and new vaccines, please. There are. Professor Kwok Yong-yun and his colleagues in the University of Hong Kong have successfully isolated the virus and have the vaccines developed. Okay, then you may ask, let it out of the market then? Whoops, sorry, like any other new drugs and vaccines, it will have to undergo a series of tests and trials on animals and on humans. The vaccine won't be available in at least a year's time. That's a sad news, isn't it? Being a highly regulated industry, innovation is never easy in healthcare. Innovation is always a long process, and it can be particularly much longer when it comes to healthcare. While an IT firm may have their investment returned in 2 or 3 years' time, developing a new drug takes an average of 14 years. The long development process of healthcare innovations not only scare away investors but also make it hard for innovators to tackle timely problems, just like the current epidemics mentioned earlier. The tech, the people, and the hardware are all there, but the public is asking for evidence to prove effectiveness and safety before the product can really be placed in the market. That's the dilemma. It is exactly because healthcare is an industry that can never be separated from human. Safety always comes as a top concern, and that's why regulations are inevitable despite slowing down innovation process. Challenges in healthcare innovation is never just a lengthy process. Complex health systems made it hard for innovations to be adopted and widely diffused across the industry. It was suggested that healthcare is so fragmented that seldom can individual institutions or practitioners in the system play a significant and determining role when it comes to adopting an innovation. MIRA is an innovative model of physical therapy combining motor sensor tracking technology. It is currently used by only 14 institutions in the UK despite positive user feedback. This can be attributed to the different staff attitude among individual therapists, different decision-making process among different NHS trusts, and the ability of the software itself to integrate into existing technology. MIRA is not the only case facing such obstacles in our health system. The complexity of health systems comes from interrelated institutions and individuals with competing interests. Different stakeholders often have a different criteria when it comes to decision-making. For example, healthcare managers concerned about budgets, clinicians concerned about performances, government or politicians concerned about whether introducing the innovation brings them extra votes. The utopia will be having innovations fulfilling all parties' goals. But the truth is, you always have to compromise. The traditional R&D model in healthcare could be another challenge. As mentioned before, taking a new drug from laboratory to the shelf takes an average of 14 years. Have you ever wondered why does it take so long? Pharmaceutical companies spend the first 4 to 5 years in discovering the possibilities of a new drug. Once a target protein or compound is identified, they spend another year in preclinical testing. Then another 5 years to go through 3 phases of clinical trials. After passing all the trial ages, it takes them another 1 or 2 years to obtain approvals and patents. Along with long time frame is high failure rate. It is estimated that for every 25,000 compounds that start in the laboratory, 25 are tested in humans, and eventually only 5 of them will make it to the market. This could be the reason why, despite investment in pharmaceutical R&D keep increasing year by year, the number of new drugs approved by the FDA in the States remains constant for nearly 50 years. What can be the way out? Imagine all the above efforts being done by the same small in-house teams of scientists, the work can be hard. But what if welcoming a little bit of external inspiration and assistance? The industry has been struggling to adopt the open innovation model, in which they collaborate with academic institutions, expanding innovation centers, and establishing joint ventures between pharma companies. Bayer, as a leading pharmaceutical company, had opened innovation centers in San Francisco, Berlin, Beijing, Osaka, and Singapore, which these centers act as a space for local startups to pair their research with Bayer's expert teams. Such model allowed traditional companies to integrate external knowledge and tech, young startups to utilize most available resources, and expectedly reducing overhead costs for both parties. Innovation is never easy. While we enjoy advancements in healthcare every day and listen to encouraging successful stories of innovations, let's not forget the 100 failures before the one final success.